Yeah, this will be a very short section because we are not really looking at batch scripts. I'm just going to talk about how you use modules in batch script. And the short thing to say is they are used the same as they would be on the command line. The important thing to pay attention to is that you need to load them in your batch script if you submit a job. Batch scripts are the way you run longer or parallel or more intense jobs at all the centers. So there are some examples here of how they will look. But the things to pay attention to is inside of your batch script, you have to know the modules you need to run the job, just like you would have if you ran them on the command line. And if it has prerequisites, the same, you need to load those also. And of course, they must be compatible, just like when you load them on the command line. There are 3 different cases. There are serial jobs, parallel or MPI jobs, and GPU jobs. I will use Python in this example to show you how. If you want to test these things, then sbatch and whatever you name your batch job will work. This small script I'm using here in the example is just so that you can test run it if you have an account. Inside of this modules in batch scripts, these small Python scripts are here. So you could copy this script here if you, for instance, were at HPC2N, put your own project ID, and then you could run it if it's in the same directory as this program here. Anyway, what I want to say, if it is a serial job, what you would do is you ask for resources for a serial job. We're not covering that. Then you load the modules and then you just run it, just like on the command line. Then, and that is the same at all the centers. And there is also shown how you would load the Python modules to run this. If it was an MPI job, there is a small difference to pay attention to. Mainly, of course, you ask for more tasks, more cores, but also you now need to ask for modules that are parallel. So you would need OpenMPI to load that, or to load a tool chain that already has it. If it's a GPU job, what you pay attention to here are, of course, you ask for GPU resources, and the modules you load must be for software that is GPU aware, or you need a CUDA if it's just a CUDA program. So that is a thing to pay attention to, and you can often see that when you look at the module at a center. It will sometimes have the word CUDA in them if it is CUDA aware or what to say. So I think GROMAX is an example. You can see here, if you look at CUDA, at GROMAX examples, some will say CUDA in it. And that means that it's a CUDA aware version that's compiled with CUDA. And you will, let's see how you load something like that. Probably it loads CUDA itself. Okay, so you just load these two and that one, and then it draws in CUDA. I will just quickly do that just to see. Let's check if I had anything. See what it loads. And there is probably going to be CUDA. Yes, so that is a thing to pay attention to. Make sure the modules you load for running on GPUs actually are compiled to use CUDA, because we actually see many people who use especially the machine learning modules, but doesn't actually check that they get the versions that are compiled for GPUs. And that means that they think they are running it on GPUs, but they actually are not. So that is a thing to pay attention to. And also, of course, the script you have, the program you run, must also be written for CUDA if it was, for instance, Python or something. One thing to pay attention to here at PDC is PDC only have AMD GPUs. CUDA does not work on it, so you would have to instead use HIP or something like that. Okay, that was that. So I will go to summary, and I think that we don't really have to go through this. It's just a list of what we covered, but you can see here the commands we covered, the compiler tool chains, how to load them, and we looked at some software examples, and then very briefly how to use the modules in bash scripts. And again, there are more information, documentation at the various centers. And if you want to read about EasyBuild, there is also information here. And as the last thing I want to say, we have an evaluation survey. Please tell us what we should do different, or if you have ideas or anything, because we want to give these courses several times a year for NICE. And this is the first instance. I have recorded this. When I have processed the recordings, I will upload them to HPC2N's YouTube channel. I will send out an email with the link, for that, and I will also send a reminder to do the survey if you haven't. And I think that's all I wanted to say.